Hello out there, guys. Hope you're doing really well. In this insane asylum, we'll just wait for some people to join. Don't forget to hit the like button, share all that stuff. Really helps me out a ton. And we'll just wait here. It's an open call today, so get your questions in. Talk about entities, soul trap, the matrix, NPCs, all that lovely stuff. Coping mechanisms, detoxing, maybe some stuff that you like to do for fun to check out of this reality sometimes. So join the chat. Please feel free to ask some questions. We've got 8 people on here at the moment. I'm sure I'm still being shadow banned. I've got like 18,000 subscribers. Either that or you lot are bored of me. One of the two. Come on, 9 people. Let's get the chat going. Who's in the chat? Type something. I'm gonna have to like the video myself. So we got Sanan. What are your thoughts on transhumanism? Hey, now we're all coming in. There's like a flood of people. YouTube have opened the floodgates for me. Thank you so much, YouTube. Don't forget, guys, I am on the other platforms as well. Bitchute, Odysee, Rumble, and check out my website as well, transcendingtimes.org, where you can find details of my work sessions and the course to learn how to clear entities, implants, all that lovely junk that they put on us. So yeah, check me out on those platforms as well as my Telegram. I post a lot of funny stuff that I come across, memes, new age memes, stuff from the Galactic Federation of Light, just stuff that I come across on a daily basis that's promoting all the woo-woo stuff that makes me laugh. So we have a good laugh in there. So check me out there. All the links are in the description below, guys. So yeah, first of all, I've had a few weeks off, so I haven't put out much content, and it's the first time in about, well, how long have I started? I started the channel in 2015. Where, what are we? I forget what year it is. I don't even know how old I am sometimes. I forget all these dates. They're kind of meaningless to me. But I guess so. We're 2024, so 9 years. I've been pretty much posting every single week. So for the first time in a long time, I was just like, do you know what? I don't feel like I want to put anything out. I wasn't feeling it, and it's been quite nice. It's been quite nice taking a little break, not a very long break. But it's good to be back. Good to be back and connecting with you guys, because this is a community here, and it is a space where we are free to discuss the real deepest aspects of what's going on. And a lot of people, they often tell me that they feel lonely with this information, particularly when you get to this level of it anyway, because there's a lot of people that, talk about surface level things, and then most people are into like new age stuff. So there's not many of us out there. So it's nice to have this space. It's actually very healing for me as well, to get things off my chest. You guys know I have a few stories about just daily life in the matrix, dealing with NPCs and that kind of thing. So yeah, feel free to ask questions. As always, these lives are as good as you make them. So if you've got anything that you want to ask, obviously I don't know everything, but I've got a good handle on most things in terms of what's going on, I think. So we'll just get through as much as we can, probably go for about an hour. But again, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. We've got 21 people in here right now, 7 likes. So just takes 2 seconds. If you wouldn't mind, that would be great. So let's go into the chat and see who we've got and what questions we have. So Sanan123, hi Tony, what are your thoughts on transhumanism? So it's a good question actually. So transhumanism is definitely something that is going on in the physical domain. We know from from the psychopaths, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and that kind of thing, what's going on with the physical implants in terms of the neuronet, the neurolace, and all that kind of stuff. And they want as much technology in the human body as possible. And I've said before that in the next few years, what's going to happen is they're going to quote unquote cure diseases with certain technologies. And what's that going to do? That's going to give people more faith in technology and move us away from sort of more holistic healing, which is more long lasting and more natural to us. And obviously, we know that they want to stick chips in us. And in actual fact, many of us have a lot of AI already within us, just due to the stuff that's being sprayed on us, the stuff that's in our food. There's nanobots and that nanotechnology in things like washing powder and washing up liquid. So we're probably sleeping in it at night, and all this stuff, it sort of infiltrates the skin. The skin being the main organ actually, and a lot of this sort of nanotechnology, nanobots that infiltrates the body, and that's kind of making people even more robotic anyway. So it's already kind of here, and this is why I talk a lot about detoxing on this channel and how essential it is, particularly if you live in a Western country where you're being bombarded every day with those things in the sky that we shall not name. So, and again, I've just made a new batch of CDS, chlorine dioxide. So I'm due a detox myself. I did a bit of traveling. I went to Mexico City, and the air there is quite polluted. And I really felt that on the way back, I needed to have a clear out. So for you guys that have not looked into that, please go to my Bitchute channel. There's a video there on how to make it. I did put it up on YouTube, but I got an instant strike. So that kind of tells you everything that you need to know about that. There are other things that you can do, activated charcoal and other things like that. But definitely want to try and get as much of that stealth stuff out as possible. And a lot of that stuff, it goes to the brain, these heavy metals that we've been injected with them when we were children as well. And that's why there's so much Alzheimer's and brain disorders and stuff like that. So when you say about transhumanism, what are my thoughts on it? It's not something that's coming. It's kind of already here. I mean, they obviously want to go full throttle and put chips in us and all that kind of stuff. And what they've done is they've normalized people and normalized society to having technology on them. Recently, or not recently, a couple of years ago, when I went back home and I was around my little nephew, he was playing some game and he had some technology attached to his head, and I was like, oh my God. So the younger generations are growing up with tech. I mean, we already have our phones. How often do people just stand there or sit there with the phone to their heads, and now it's Wi-Fi in the ear. You don't have the cordless the corded earphones anymore. It's now stuck in your ear via Wi-Fi. So they've normalized putting technology on the body, and so when the big push comes to actually put it in the body, then there's going to be less resistance. So yeah, it's already here, but they're going to obviously push forward with that, because ultimately AI wants to exist in the human body, and on an etheric level, that is its goal. In terms of etheric implants and cyborg technology and hybrid technology, we already have that kind of meshed within our energy fields already. So AI is already kind of existing through us, because AI exists in the physical and it exists in the etheric. And when we think of AI, we think of like robots and even like nanobots, but there's etheric AI as well. And a lot of the etheric AI implants and stuff that's infused within our energy bodies, which is also hijacking the natural flow of energy. And that's stuff that, you know, I clear in sessions, and I teach people it within the course. So transhumanism is an agenda that's playing out in the physical, but it's already there in the astral realm as well. So what we're seeing is stuff that is in the astral now rolling out now. Things like the microchips and the Elon Musk types implants. They're stuff that you find in the astral that is hijacking the mechanisms of our cognitive thinking and thought. So it exists in the physical and in the astral. It's just now it's starting to play out in the physical now. So it's kind of like as above, so below. So AI has an agenda, just like the entities, the reptilians and demonic entities have their own agendas. AI also has its own agenda as well, and it's one of its main agendas is to exist through us by attaching us itself through us. So it's all very sci-fi. There's a lot of truth in those sci-fi movies. But it's a really interesting question to start off with. I hope that sort of clears up my thoughts on it anyway. So this is why, like I say, detoxing is important. Energy training is important, so we can have a better experience while we're here. So yeah, and again, you can look at this two ways. You can look at it, oh my God, oh we're doomed, or we can look at it, okay, well, wow, we must be really powerful for all these entities and stuff to want to attach themselves and that kind of thing. So we're huge power batteries, and yeah, we're basically powering this whole matrix and the life within it, basically. Well, it's not even proper life. I would say they're like AI programs. So, but good first question. So, hi, Christopher. You did catch a life. Thanks for what you do. My pleasure. I was going to say I enjoy it, but I like helping. You know, I like helping. Most of all, I like helping people get out of all that new age garbage. But and also when you look at the soul trap and stuff like that, there's always more to learn, as I say, and I'm always open to learning more. But I think once you get to the level of the soul trap and how entities work and things like that, particularly the soul trap, I think that's the cherry on top of the pile of dog shit. There's not much more really deeper that you can go, because essentially the aim is to liberate ourselves from this place, and I think that part of the information is really key. And probably the most important of all of it. So if I can help bring that to people's attention, then that makes me happy as well. So, thoughts on the fear mongering on the eclipse, rockets, and CERN? Yeah, there's always fear mongering going on, isn't it? If there's not a war, it's some kind of banking crash or I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot out there, particularly in the sort of alternative media. There's all kinds of theories and ideas about what's going on. I mean, for sure, they're going to use. They do use these events like eclipses and full moons and stuff like that. They do use them because energetically, there's a way they can harness and harvest our energy. And it's almost like the portals are open more for these beings to engage with their fuckery, you know, for want of a better word. So, but of course, you know, their whole gig is to keep us in fear, and it's important that we don't buy into that. It's good to be aware. What are they doing? Who bloody knows? I mean, CERN to me feels like some kind of like artificial portal. Maybe they're letting in it, other entities, or who knows. There's normally multiple reasons for what they do. Um, but yeah, it's, there's all kinds of theories going on out there right now, and to be honest with you, I don't really pay it too much attention. So, but for sure, when they opened that CERN, it was really dark. I don't know if you guys saw they did some kind of ritual ceremony with the people in, how they like doing all these weird satanic costumes. So it's whatever's going on there. It's definitely nefarious, um, but it's really open to debate as to what they're actually doing. I think what we need to do is we just need to carry on moving forward with what we need to do, and our work is just to keep working on ourselves. The inner work, the energy training, and trying to enjoy our experience while we're here, as crazy as it is, and as dark as it seems as time. We can't let these beings steal our joy. And as I said, that meme that I love so much, of that every time you smile, a reptilian goes hungry. And that's not to say that we have to bypass, them and what they do, and understand them. No, not at all. It's incredibly important that we understand how they work, what they're doing, what their agenda is, because that's how we shield ourselves. So I'm not promoting any kind of spiritual bypassing, but for sure we've got to try and find the fun in things while we're here, and basically laugh at them, because they're desperate. We are definitely in a time where things are changing, and ancient cultures have spoken about it. I'm in Mexico. The Mayans spoke about it. This kind of new beginning, new opening. There's even theories saying that this matrix construct is coming to an end. The simulation is coming to an end. And if you look at all the glitches right now, every day I'm seeing more and more videos of the matrix glitching. So there's definitely things going on that are not working in their favor. And, they're parasites. They really are. And they're way more. They basically live in fear. That's their gig. The fear of being found out, and fear of us, waking up to the truth of who we are. So yeah, a lot of fear mongering. You're right about that. And I don't think it's going to be an end of the world event. That's what they would like us to believe, no doubt. But yeah, and the other thing is, did anyone see that? I guess you all did. The ship that they crashed into. Oh, well, apparently it crashed into the bridge, but there was all these bombs that went on around the bridge. It was so badly done. So they really are desperate. That's all I smell from them is complete desperation. So good. Let's get on to the next question. Guys, don't forget, give the video a like. We've got 66 people in here, 31 likes. So only half of you have clicked the like button. It does help me out a ton, if you wouldn't mind doing that. Would like to hear your perspective on scripted reality in life events. Are you talking about a life plan, which a lot of NDEs have spoken about? Because if you're talking about a life plan, then I actually spoke about this on I think it was my last live video, or maybe the one before that. I do feel like we are, if you study the NDEs, it's clear that we sign up to certain things, which again, energy work is important, so you can clear stuff like that. But it's clear that we sign up to certain things and agree to certain things, and I feel like that we're on this sort of planned path, if you like, to a certain degree. But if you study it, they always say that free will can intervene and change things. And that's what I feel like we have the potential of doing. And I think that's what's happened in my own life, where I was working in the proverbial 9 to 5, and I just made a decision I couldn't do it anymore, and completely retrained, and yeah, just with my intention and my free will and taking physical action. Of course, it's not like a new age law of attraction, just think and things will appear. But I do feel that we can bypass any kind of script, and that happens, I feel like, when we wake up, quote unquote. um, when you start to have that awakening and you realize, oh shit, I'm a slave. That's why things never felt right to me. um, then you start, and I speak about driving the car. So when we talk of the soul trap, people are getting themselves in bother because they're not taking control of the wheel. They're letting these entities come in and drive the wheel for them, and they're driving them over a cliff face. So AKA, they're driving them back round here on Earth, right? Because the person is not in control of the car, and it's the person is not injecting their will onto their own consciousness. So therefore, the car is being driven for them, and it's driving round and round and round in circles. And the same thing applies in our physical life, in terms of, we have to be the one to drive the car. Okay, we may have signed up to some kind of BS life script, but once we realize, I may have signed up for some of this, you can turn the direction of the car, and you can go back in the other direction. So if you think about before you wake up, or you woke up, and when I look back at my own life, before I woke up, I was on autopilot. I wasn't thinking for myself. I was going along. I was do, I was doing jobs that were like what everyone else does. I had the same opinions as everyone else did. I would take up the same habits as everyone else did. I was in the matrix. My mind was in the matrix. This is how the matrix works. I have to get this 9 to 5 job, grind, get a mortgage, all that stuff. And yeah, it's all laid out for you when you look at it like that. But when you snap out of that haze, you then you realize that you have to take the wheel back of the car. And willpower is so important, and intention is so important. I teach this a lot in my course. If we only knew how important intention was, then we would be very careful with it. And so with that intention and that new understanding, we make better choices, we make better decisions. So whereas before, maybe I wouldn't have thought twice about going to get a McDonald's back in the day, but now I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. So what is the offshoot of that? Well, okay, so before, maybe it would have led to bad health, and maybe eventually led to cancer. Who knows, right? But now I know better, and now I'm going to drive my car away from the McDonald's drive-through, and I'm going to make better decisions about what I'm going to put in my body, and that is going to result in better health. And so the likelihood of me getting cancer is going to be a lot less. So we should never, I don't think we should ever feel like everything is set out for us. I think we have that ability. Human will is very powerful, and we have that ability to change the game while we're here in physical incarnation. Um, and I do feel that to be true, and I feel like I've witnessed that in my own life. So thoughts on the end of time and stored recycled century. Excuse me. I don't know what the stored recycled century is. Maybe you can explain what that is. If that's the end of this cycle, the end of the simulation, I think I've already just touched on that. It feels like something's definitely glitching here right now. And well, I already just explained. I feel like something like that. Maybe it is maybe it is on the cards, and I feel like maybe they need to get this AI agenda in before that happens. Would also like to hear about your perspective of Bonnie. Bonnie, I had a run with an NPC crackhead last week. Don't you just love them? I'm thinking I've got any NPC stories lately. Normally I've got loads. It's not no. I think I said in the last live that babies is the new. Oh no, it was in my training and my in my course. I do a bi-weekly live Q&A in there, and I was telling the guys within the course that before it was noisy neighbours. So wherever I would move, there would be like a guy throwing parties, or they'd just start constructing next to me. Now the new thing is babies. It's like the Matrix is playing with me. It's having a joke with me. And so wherever I go, if I go to a restaurant, there'll be a couple come in the restaurant with a baby, and they won't just sit in the restaurant. They'll sit next to me, and the baby will start screaming. Or if I get a plane flight, there'll be a couple, and the baby will be sitting in front of me or sitting behind me, kicking my chair. This is the new way the Matrix is getting at me. But anyway, it's first world problems. There's you know I make light of it because it's just a little thing, but let's get things into perspective. There's stuff going on in Gaza which is way worse than those things. So I always try and look at it in that light. But and the funny thing is whenever I go to do an interview or work with someone or try and anything like that, there'll be people will just start turning their music up or shouting in the corridor, or doors slamming, or fire engines going past, or police cars going past. Like the amount of times that's happened where I'll just sit down with someone, or I sit down with the group call in the course, just about to go into some stuff, and then all hell breaks loose around me. It's hilarious. One day I'll write a book about it. Sandra says, "I don't feel lonely with your information." That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad you say that, because when you first hear about this information, a lot of people have told me that they go through like a grieving process, but rather the truth, right? And that's what we've got here. That's why I do continue. I'll always continue to put out content and continue to do the live streams. Because I know it's important for people, so they don't feel so alone with this knowledge. Because there's so much BS out there, even in like alternative media. Like it's people don't want to go to the darkest depths of what's going on here. That's what I found, So the idea that characters we are playing are all NPCs and we're being observed what the story's playing out, and then to take responsibility, the forescript. Yeah, I do feel like there is that going on. Some people get triggered by NPCs when using that term, but the fact is, when you research the soul trap, there's many times people have witnessed people with what they refer to mechanical souls. They've put it in movies as well, so I do feel like that is playing out here, and you can just tell just by how programmed some people are. And what I define as an NPC, I think I've described before, is just someone that lacks that curiosity. They don't ask those questions. Why am I here? Is there a God? What is my purpose? Like they're going back to what I was saying before about they're not in charge of their car, and they don't care to be in charge of their car. They're quite happy with the car being driven for them, and then some of those will wake up and realize, oh, my car's being driven for me, I don't like that. And others just won't, because I don't actually think they're capable. I feel like some of these people you can put in front of a 10-hour documentary explaining what's going on, and they'll still call you a conspiracy theorist, even if you just presented them with all the proof in the world. So that's why I'm not so much like we got to wake people up anymore. I put information out there. Of course, it's important because there's people, a lot of people stuck within that second layer, that strand of the web, that second strand of the web. But I'm not like, I remember like before a few years ago, I'm like, I've got to wake people up. And I'll get so frustrated that they wouldn't listen. And now I know why, because they weren't capable. So, and again, I'm not teaching people that we shouldn't speak our truth, and we shouldn't speak up. We have to speak up. But the thing is, don't be so attached to the outcome. Don't get so frustrated if people don't listen, because the probability is that they're not wired the same. And that's where I am now, and that is very peaceful. And even now, you know, I work with a lot of people, and you know, they're getting frustrated that their best friend, they won't listen. And it's like, look, just put the information to them. If they're receptive to it, then great. But if they're not, just move on. You know, don't waste too much time and energy trying to get people to see something that they're incapable of seeing. So, but of course, there are people there that will be capable of seeing it. You just got to put it in front of them, and they're like, that makes sense. So speak your truth, but don't be attached to the outcome, is what I would say. How are we doing on the likes? So we've got 57 likes, 89 people in here. So not bad ratio. If we could just get that up a little bit more, that would be really helpful to me. Do you think there's a matrix reset coming soon? Well, I mean, they're always trying to reset, aren't they? I mean, the next one is going to be, there's many resets that they want. They want the transhumanism reset, which I spoke about before. They want the new currency, the financial reset. They want they want a spiritual reset. They want a reset where people. Oh, the big one right now. Actually, I'm going to speak about that now. So, one of the things that they want is they don't want people traveling, right? And there's a lot of propaganda at the moment about putting people off traveling. There was an article I posted it. Where did I post it? Oh, I made a TikTok video on it. You can find me on TikTok as well, where I talk about other stuff. So there was a big mainstream media article, maybe like New York Times or something like that, and they were saying that, you know, how traveling isn't that great, and you know, people say that it opens the mind when it does. It was just very anti-travel, right? And then there's a big TV presenter in the UK called Jeremy Vine, and he did someone was sharing it with me. He did a whole entire like 2 hours about traveling and how we shouldn't be traveling, and people that travel, like just putting down people that travel. Because what they want is they want people to get used to not traveling, because eventually, as we know, they want people in the 15-minute cities where it's all based on the social credit score. And they're really pushing this at the moment. And so as well as all that propaganda, there's been an issue or many issues with Boeing and the safety aspects of flying. And quite recently, there was a former manager of Boeing that was going to work, or was due to go to court for a hearing, which was going to expose a lot of the safety procedures going on within Boeing, or the lack of them. And he disappeared, and apparently he suicided, right? And interestingly enough, was it his mum or his wife came out and said, look, he knew that what he was saying was dangerous, and he told me that he would never kill himself. So something's happened there. And the reason I'm talking about that is because, and I don't want to put people off traveling. People will have their own choices to make, but I'm just wondering whether or not, you know, they're going to start making it unsafe, because leading up to that as well, there's been some events where, you know, stuff has fallen off in planes, and I don't know, there's just some weird stuff going on where there's lots of these events going on in the skies. And I was putting two and two together. I thought, well, all this plays out really well with their agenda to stop people traveling. You know, if they can cause a few problems in the skies, then people are going to be like, oh, you know, it's not safe to travel. You know, look at what's going on and stuff like that. So I feel like they're really pushing that from that angle as well. And of course, what they wanted to do during the illness, and I don't know if they got their way or if they still want to do it, is they were trying to get um, just one pilot on the plane rather than having a co-pilot, which is insanely dangerous. And particularly when a lot of these airline staff have taken God knows how many jibs to the arm. Um, and so I feel like that one of their agendas right now is that they want to try and make it unsafe, but there's always a push. There's been a big pushback, which has been good. There's been a lot of people making videos. Even a mainstream media channel, ABC in Australia, covered the dead ex-manager. So there's a lot of eyes on the airline industry right now, and a lot of people are kind of um, speaking up and speaking out. So they're having to. So this is where knowledge becomes powerful because now they're kind of being exposed. They need to up their ante within their standards, and so yeah, there's a whole agenda rolling out um, about getting people or putting people off traveling. Um, so that's one to look out for. And again, I'm not trying to put people off. I'm just saying, look, this is what's going on. It's up to you. I got a flight the other day. It was fine, right? But I'm just saying. um, so, oops, I've got a froze here. Freeze. Just go back up here. Sorry about this, guys. My thing just. Weird Wednesday, you asking if I have a course. Yeah, the course is on my website, transcendingtimes.org. It's a video course, so you can take it as quickly or as slowly as you want. But I also, we have a community there, and I do a live bi-weekly, more or less, Q&A. And yeah, so the training is ongoing, and we learn how to clear entities, implants, etheric AI, grids, holographic themes. We've done some planetary work in the past. People are practicing on each other as well. And yeah, it's just a really nice space. So if you feel lonely with this information, then it might be something to consider. Ask some questions and I have more that I will not ask on YouTube. What do you think about Carlos Castaneda? Can you recommend any book, especially about shadow work? Well, he's Carlos Castaneda. I mean, he talks about the mind virus, doesn't he? The Wakato, the Wakato. You know what I mean? So it's essentially the same kind of thing. He's talking about entity interference. I don't know how deep he goes with it all in terms of how they behave. I don't know if he covers false light entities, how entities will shapeshift and masquerade themselves as light beings, because entities are it's quite a complex topic. It's more than just I mean, they are a mind virus because they inject negative feedback 24/7, and you know, a lot of the voices that we have in our heads, negative ones, are not actually ours. They're coming from entities. A lot of our doubts and fears, and that's the reason why you can be quite happy one minute, and then all of a sudden you're getting all these like, oh, I'm not good enough, and no one likes because something's come in and tried to hijack, right? And this is, I've done interviews with Jerry Marzinski, who was worked on the schizophrenic ward for 30 years, and he talks about these voices in the head, these entities. So Carlos Castaneda, I've not actually read any of his books, but I know if he's onto the fact that yeah, there's other things influencing humanity, Um, but I've not taken a deep dive into his stuff. So just like space travel, these people should have something and try to stay relevant, or they will not get money for future projects. I'm not sure what that refers to. Is that CERN or Mother Maya Matrix? Yeah. Vitanis, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Very kind of you. Steve Richards talks about serpent entities as the strongest ones who makes our eyes like cats. I wouldn't say they're the strongest ones. They're very prominent. People that are very sexual or a lot of yoga, kind of kundalini people have a lot of serpent entities, or people that have taken a lot of psychedelics have a lot of serpent entity attachments. But what I've noticed when I've worked on or I've seen serpent entities in people is they almost have serpent-like eyes. You can almost see the serpent working through them. Actually, a really interesting topic that I'm meant to bring up with you guys right now is I don't know what it's like in your in your country right now, but here in Latin America, Mexico, Colombia, Argentina, a lot of people have have tattoos. I mean, I have a tattoo, but I what I'm noticing is that a lot of people now are getting tattoos of entities. So I walk around and I see a lot of people with snake tattoos. I see a lot of people with dragon tattoos. I even see a lot of people with demonic tattoos with the horns. Um, and I started noticing this probably really quite strongly a year and a half ago, or about a year ago. And I'm like, wow, these entities really are working through people to the point where they're getting people to tattoo themselves, because that carries with it an energy. If you get a tattoo of a serpent, that is going to either draw in a serpent, or a serpent is going to attach itself to that tattoo. And so in wherever you are in your country, just observe the tattoos and see um, see what people are getting put on themselves, because it's really shocking to me. You know, even a lot of the women here between the breasts, they get like it's horrible. They get like the serpent like in between the breast. So these entities really do work through people. So um, cut the umbilical cord to leave or stay trapped. Uh, well, I mean, the umbilical cord they cut too early in terms of when babies are born. I don't. Do you mean the what? I don't know if you're talking about the right cord there. That the umbilical cord we need to leave on longer, because that supplies the baby with nutrition and the stem cells, and that's one of the reasons why the birthing process is completely satanic. They cut that too early. The woman is supposed to squat and not lay, so the baby gets caught in the birth canal. Then they whisk the baby off in the vital moments of bonding and put them in an incubator for God knows how long, causing massive abandonment wounds. I mean, the whole thing is traumatic. Like, if you think that you've got no inner work to do, if you've gone through a modern birthing process, you've got trauma. I mean, I've gone into memories, and I've worked with people that have gone into memories where they've been stuck in the birth canal and all kinds of stuff. Or they'll have a memory of where there's all these masked doctors with like scissors and stuff looking at them. And I've had a lot of people actually go into memories where they just didn't want to be born, and they remember coming out that the babies were like, I don't want to be here. Be realizing they're back here is a trauma imprint for them. And if you study NDEs, it makes sense, because in some of the NDEs, the soul will abort themselves because they don't want to come back. I mean, that's how bad it gets at some level. So, yeah, I'm not sure if you meant the umbilical cord there. So I don't know. Uh, Sorry, guys, I'm not going to be able to get through all of these questions. There's so many, so I'm just going to touch on animals and meat. I like Steve Richards' approach that it has a spirit which quite often was disturbed energetically. You should clean it before eating. I don't know about that, to be honest. Um, I mean, energetically, if we're being really picky, we probably should clear everything energetically before we eat it. But I don't think animals are wired quite the same as what we are. I think the vegan agenda wants you to believe that you eat the fear of the animal and all that stuff. Well, when you feel like shit and you've lost your memory and you can't think clearly because you've been eating plants for 2 years, you start to take a different view on it. Um, what about the idea that the matrix is collapsing in another savior protocol and creates an excuse to bypass the work to get ourselves out? Well, there's always savior programs running. I just had this conversation in my live Q&A with my group training people that the matrix, they know that we seem to, I don't know whether it's because we don't trust us ourselves, probably it is, and that takes a lot of going within and believing in yourself. But people, they want someone to lead them, they want someone to save them, and the programming goes on from a very early age. When you look at films like He-Man, Spider-Man, Superman, it's, what is it? It's savior program. It's always someone's going to come to rescue. So we're programmed from a very young age, and then you add into the melting pot things like religion, and even it's prominent within the New Age. They think that Archangel Michael's coming down, or they think that the Galactic Federation are coming down, or whoever, right? So human beings, most human beings, not all of them, because they haven't gone through the internal process of reaching a point of what I would refer to as sovereignty, being self-sovereign, and add to the fact that a lot of humans have had a huge amount of trauma in their lives, and they want something to lean into and to feel better. And the Matrix knows this perfectly. So the Matrix will always provide you with some kind of savior, and their hope is that you will follow that savior, and more often than not, that savior will give you a few half truths, sprinkle a bit of sugar to make you feel that it's got your back, and then you get what I call the rug pull, where it pulls the rug from beneath your feet, and either your life ends up in a mess, or you end up recycled back down here because you never trusted yourself and your own discernment process and your own you driving your own vehicle. You still want someone else to drive it for you because you feel like someone will drive it to a closer, a safer place than what you will. And all that takes internal work, and we really need to come out of that mindset. It really is a slave mindset. I mean, even the stories that they've given us down the years, with Jesus and things like that, it takes things away from ourselves. What I'm trying to create is, I want people to be their own leaders. I want people to be free thinkers and discern for themselves, and I want people to become sovereign, essentially, and to move away from that those mindsets and that agenda completely, because it always ends up in tears. Or whether you're looking for the next politician. I mean, so many people in the truth community still believe that someone like Robert Kennedy or Trump is going to come and sort out this mess for us, right? And these are people that are in the truth, quote unquote, truth movement. and they're still stuck in a slave mindset. They've done no internal pondering, or okay, they realize things are corrupt, but instead of doing what they really need to do, the inner work, and going within and working out what's really going on and how deceptive these beings are and how they work through uh, world figures and leaders, it's just far easier to put another ballot in the vote box. Okay, well, Robert Kennedy, he sounds like a nice guy. Poor Robert Kennedy, he's got Parkinson's, and look at what his uncle did, which was all, it's all BS anyway. We know it didn't happen like that. I mean, the guy supports the country with that starts in an I and ends in an L, and he supports genocide, essentially. But there's so many people that think that when he gets voted in, he's going to change America for the better. We had the same with Trump. So these savior programs at this stage of the game are, for me, quite annoying right now, because when are we going to learn, right? When are we going to learn as a species that we're just going to get rug pulled again? So I'm not saying that you can't trust anyone. I'm just saying, use a bit of bloody discernment, and don't just go with whatever feels good. I had this on an interview I did yesterday. A lot of these things, they don't feel good on the surface when you first hear them. I have people tell me that they go through a grieving process, but once you go through it, you feel more empowered, because at least you know what the hell's going on here, right? Or at least we've got a handle on it. Let's put it like that. There's probably always more to know, but people just they'll reject things. Oh no, I don't want to think that my soul's recycled here. That doesn't make me feel good. Oh, I don't want to think that there's entities that aren't angelic and are just going to be masquerading. That doesn't fit in my worldview. No, I need to believe. I need to believe that I've got this angel here that's or my guides are helping me. They're just it's just gonna end up in tears. So I think essentially what we need to do is grow up, right? We're still childlike in the way we think about things, or the way we view ourselves, and the way that we view these people that are presented to us, and these entities that present themselves to us through channeling and new age beliefs. It's all garbage. That's the thing. It's like, sometimes people are like, well, what about this? And I say, just put it all in the bin and start again. All your light language, your angels, your Trumps, just put it all in the bin. Jesus, put it all in the bin. These are all matrix programs. And start again, and move towards sovereignty, discernment, self-responsibility, taking action, being the leader of your car, driving your car in the direction that you want it to, not being a victim. We've all had things bad happen to us, and that's not our fault, but it is our responsibility to overcome those things. And so many people want to stay there. They want to stay in that victim mindset, and they'll stay there all their lives. So I think as an entire species, we've got to do the internal work to move out of those savior programs, those savior mindsets that we find ourselves in. Yeah, someone asked me that on the last live. Oh, I'm gonna have to wrap. God, these things go so quick. I've got a session soon, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up pretty soon. But I'll try and get through a few more questions. Do you want kids? I did answer that in the last one, I think. What I did say is that obviously, when you know what this realm is, it does make you think, do I really want to bring someone into this reality? But don't forget, they also want to depopulate as well. So is that playing into their hands? And then the other thing that I think of, okay, if this soul is going to be recycled here anyway, why not recycle into a good, a good solid foundation where the parent or the parents can properly educate the child to make better choices and have a better experience here, and maybe become another shining light in this world of darkness. So there's really two sides of looking at it. I try and look at the more positive side of it. Um, I feel like most of us in this chat would be really good parents. I'm pretty sure I would be. I mean, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be perfect, but I feel like it would be a shame, not to pass on my knowledge at some point. But then, I've got this thing about babies screaming, so who knows? So, yeah, there's two ways of looking at it, I would say. So, mm, Weird Wednesday. Do you think we're all one? Yeah, I mean, so this is a new age concept that I'm not entirely happy about, right? Because I guess at some level, maybe we are all one. Um, if you go right back to the roots, but certainly here, I don't think we are. I mean, when you look at the word soul, what does it mean? It means alone. It means solo, right? And when you start understanding how the soul trap works, you really understand that your other human beings are not going to help you at that point. You're not all one at that point. You need to figure that shit out yourself. You need to work it out yourself, and you need to, yeah, really, really get to the understandings that you need to do yourself. It's not like you can just tap into whatever. I mean, what everyone else believes in and knows is mainly bullshit anyway. So I don't really want to be associated with what everyone else is doing, right? So I feel like the more I understand about this realm, the more I believe that it really is a soul journey. And don't get me wrong, you can have connections and all that kind of stuff, but I think we are each on our own path to figure this stuff out and to liberate ourselves, which in effect has a knock-on effect on everyone else. So what we do ripples through time and space, I believe. So when one person liberates themselves, it helps everyone else, and that goes down to any little thing that you do. And so we can be a part of that, but I think it is mainly an individual journey. That's what I feel like anyway. So, mm, what are your thoughts on the migrant situation? Well, it's a very triggering thing. I mean, we even have it here in Mexico. There's a lot of expats in Mexico City that the Mexicans are not too happy about gentrification because a lot of them are coming and they're not paying taxes and that kind of thing. So, I mean, a lot of this is deliberate. If you look at where I'm from in the UK, for years now they've been letting in people. Um, I mean, at the base level, borders are just invisible lines invented by man. But there is something to be said for tribes and cultures and things like that. I mean, we even have it to the minuscule degree whereby you wouldn't just let someone walk into your home, right? It's like that's your home. I mean, no one owns the land. No one. Yeah, it doesn't belong to anyone. But you can't deny that over centuries there's been groups of people and cultures that have settled in certain areas, and when it's allowed and freely pushed that new people from different cultures come in, that is going to upset the apple cart. But at the deepest level, what it is divide and rule. It's divide and conquer. Because while you're blaming your person that's coming next to you, they're putting microchips in people's bodies, right? They're rolling out the social credit scores. So everyone's arguing around them about themselves, and the matrix is just distraction. It's a distraction. It's to get people angry about people that are not really the problem, and so they can get away with all the bloodshed, murder, and stealing that they're doing. And the other thing that I would say as well, you cannot blame someone from a poor country who has it very difficult and knows that if they go to another country, they're going to have an easier life for them and their families. You cannot blame that person for thinking like that, because you would think like that. So I think it's very important to zoom out and look at it from the other side, but really look at why it's being done, and it's being done to, you know, cause as much upheaval and as much divide and conquer as possible. I'm not saying that it's necessarily a good thing that you know, all these cultures mixed together. I mean, how can I talk anyway? I live in Mexico, right? If I was to say, you know, it's all wrong, I mean, what am I doing? I should go back to the UK, right? That's where I'm from. So, but luckily, the Mexican people in general are very friendly, very welcoming, and you know, there's a certain faction that are not too happy, but I would be a massive hypocrite if I started, you know, saying it was all wrong when I'm one myself, right? So, so yeah, that's what I think about that. Let's just do one more question, and then I will wrap this up. They absolutely fly past these. Would you ever do a panel live stream where others can join? Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what I do in my course anyway. We do a live Q&A and everyone joins in. Okay, guys, there's just way too many questions right now, and I'm going to have to wrap this up because I've got an appointment myself. But it was so good to come on today and speak to you all. Please remember to smile and laugh at this system. You will be out of it at some point, hopefully soon. Try and find the joy in it, but understand it. Do the things necessary that you need to do to make this experience better for you. The energy work, the training, the inner work. Yeah, don't forget, you can check me out on the other channels, my Telegram group, as I say, and my website, transcendingtimes.org. And I'll probably do some reviews over the next few weeks. One other thing that I'm looking for right now is more people that have come out of the New Age or were heavy into the New Age. I'm looking to do some more interviews with some people who tell their stories, because that work never ends. I need to keep putting out that content because there's so many people still trapped within that mindset. So anyone that was heavily into the New Age, any aspect of it, could be, you know, twin flame, or you're in a cult, or there's no judgment, or, you know, no one's going to be laughing at you. We're just helping others to know. So just, you can email me through my website, or tonysayers@protonmail.com, probably the best one. But other than that, guys, have a wonderful rest of the week, and I'll speak to you all very soon. You take care now.